I know all of you guys are worried the same way that I am worried. You're worried that we're going to see King Corbin at the end of the King of the Ring at the Clash of the Champions pay-per-view. Well, if Vince McMahon has anything to do with it, not only will he be King Corbin, he will be Universal Champion King Corbin. Oh my God, hand me the noose. Also, we are going to debunk Sasha Banks re-signing a new WWE deal. What you're hearing today is all false. Bayley turned heel before the Clash of the Champions pay-per-view. Why did she turn heel, and what was WWE's reasoning to do it when they did it? Chad Gable begging Vince McMahon for more priority on SmackDown Live, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Is he now ready to finally get back in the ring and come out of retirement? All this plus so much more on episode 290. This is part number 3 of Off the Script.
5, delete! Too smart.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is episode 290, part number 3 for your September 9th, Monday, 2019. I am a dumbass. I'm a dumbass. I've been saying episode 289 all weekend, and 289 actually took place in Chicago on that very first Friday during AEW All Out Weekend. I guess I must have forgotten, because it really didn't feel like I worked on the podcast that weekend. I got something up for you guys for the Enzo and Cass story, and I didn't realize that I titled that one the way that I did as episode 289. So if you guys heard me say 289 in the Friday and Saturday podcasts, well, I'm a dumbass. Like I said, it's episode 290, and I fixed the titles, and I fixed the description so you guys are not overly concerned about it. If you heard me say it, just ignore me. It's just me drawing a blank on this very fine, hazy weekend that we had. But thank you guys so very much for joining me right here on the show, man. We got a lot to go over, before Monday Night Raw tonight, which is surprisingly shaping up to be somewhat of a decent show. We have the King of the Ring semifinal match, that triple threat match with Samoa Joe, Ricochet, and King Corbin, which I know everybody's afraid of. Don't really understand the triple threat or the need for a triple threat. WWE can't go and finish a tournament in the traditional manner. They have to convolute everything. So that's tonight. Cedric Alexander versus AJ Styles in a non-title match for the United States Championship. Rather predictable because AJ Styles does not have an opponent for Clash of Champions. So I'm figuring that Cedric Alexander is going to get the victory by some nefarious means, I'm sure, over AJ Styles, which will prompt them to give him a United States Championship match at Clash of Champions. That should be good inside Madison Square Garden. Stone Cold Steve Austin is returning, and we all know why he's returning. There's no secret here, folks. But Stone Cold Steve Austin is in the news, and we're going to talk about it right here on the podcast. He's going to be overseeing the contract signing between Braun Strowman and Pussy. Oh, man, I can't get over this cold. You know, Rollins, your champ, not my champion, Universal Champion Seth Rollins. And we also have the tag team match that everybody's talking about. The 4 Horsewomen are in action. Push it! Oh my God, Rollins, man. Bro, I can't get over this cold. Oh, man. Seems like I've been sick for like the last 3 weeks. Can't get over it. We got Becky, we got Sasha, we got Bayley, and we got Charlotte. All 4 Horsewomen in the same tag team match. It's going to be Bayley and Sasha teaming up, of course, the 2 quote-unquote heels, against Charlotte and Becky Lynch. I have to see how WWE books this one into oblivion. I'm sure this will be more convoluted garbage on Monday Night Raw, but they're shaping it up to be a can't-miss show. Also, Rey Mysterio versus Grand Metalik, which is awesome, man. Grand Metalik has not had an opportunity in this company, period. Outside of the Cruiserweight Classic, which they heavily touted as, you know, him being trained and brought in, not really trained, but kind of brought in, and Finn Balor gave him a huge thumb up of approval. You know, it's one of those things where you had him in the Cruiserweight Classic, you had so much promise behind them, so much hype. You put the Finn Balor name behind Balor helping him get into the tournament and into the WWE, and then you don't use him. Then he's carrying around a fucking pinata on Monday Night Raw, wasting away. Then he's on Twitter revealing how many weeks he has till his contract is up. Same thing with Kalisto, and I'm sure the same thing with Lince Dorado. Not that they're difference makers or anything, but man, 3 talented guys and they're not being used. So Monday Night Raw is shaping up to be somewhat of a decent show tonight. I'm actually kind of intrigued about what they do. It's the go-home show, and it's the first night of Monday Night Football. So what are they going to do? We'll see what happens. But we got news revolving around Monday Night Raw tonight on the podcast. So you guys get this, and then you get Monday Night Raw, and then you get me again for the official review, as always, every single week after the show is off the air. Anyway, guys, I didn't upload yesterday because it was the opening kickoff for the NFL season, and I will do no such thing as upload on a Sunday when I know the majority of everybody is watching NFL. And I didn't really want to get buried in the sub boxes. I didn't want to go unnoticed. So I just said, you know what? Screw it. I'll just wait till Monday. I'll wait till Monday in the afternoon. You guys will probably see it then and have a better understanding of why I did not upload on Sunday. So that is the reason for that. It's not going to be a weekly thing. It's just opening kickoff. It's like a fucking national holiday here in the States. Nobody gives a shit about anything on YouTube. So hopefully the kids start going back to school. Hopefully we get into the fall seasons. Hopefully I get a nice craft beer, pumpkin related, in my hand, and everything on YouTube starts to bounce back after the slow summer. But we're going to get into everything, man. Again, thank you guys so much for joining me on the podcast. If you missed anything that I uploaded on the channel previously, you guys can certainly do so. Links will be not only down in the description. I'm going to start putting them in the description. I don't think anybody sees them in the comments. Whatever. I've been told, put them in the comments. Nobody really sees them. Nobody really cares. It is what it is. I'm going to put them in the description. If you guys want to go check everything out, they will certainly be there for easy access. And I'll even put it in the top right corner of the screen as well. Roman Reigns finally dresses fans who think his leukemia was not real. Now, a lot of you thought that Roman Reigns faked his leukemia. You guys still think that way because I've seen several comments in the podcast on Saturday say that very same thing. I had to go into a huge spiel about why I never said he faked his leukemia. I gave you every reason to think that WWE overexposed the shit out of it, but I never said his leukemia was fake. Just want to make that clear. So if you guys want to go see that, it's after the Harry's ad in the podcast. So it's towards the very end. Make sure you guys see that, man. It is of the utmost importance that you see and hear what I'm talking about as far as all the haters and the bullshit artists in the community and everybody who thinks I'm a racist and everybody who thinks I shit on Roman Reigns. I did not. So hopefully that clears everything up. That is in the podcast on Saturday. Go and check that out. The Dark Pictures, man. Man of Medan. Make sure you guys go and check that out if you guys are into the scary video game horror genre and you guys want to see me get scared by playing video games. That's on the channel right now. And then the WWE 2019 draft was announced, and the reason why this is the perfect time to do it. We're moving to Fox. It's going to be a big reset, and I love it, man. All the WWE has to do is make it feel real. Make it feel important. Make it feel like a real sports draft, and give Raw and SmackDown those separate identities. That is what they need to do. So if you guys missed any of that stuff, you know where to find it. It's on the channel right now. Go and check it out. Follow me on social media, man. At JD from NY206. This is what I need you to do. Twitter and Instagram. JD from NY206. You guys will see me. Follow me on both Instagram and Twitter. good way to get a behind-the-scenes look of what I do on Instagram. And if you guys want to be notified of everything that goes on the channel, Twitter is your best bet. If you guys want my in-real thoughts of Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and any pay-per-views, AEW come October, you guys know Twitter is the best place to do all that stuff. So I would greatly appreciate you guys following me on that. And hit that subscribe button, man. Down below, hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, turn on that bell for all notifications. And if you guys want to support the podcast via Patreon, you guys can certainly do that as well. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. I've been batting around the idea of doing a music podcast because I love my heavy metal, man. I love my heavy metal, and I'm thinking about doing a music podcast on Patreon. So you guys are possibly going to get that exclusive only to Patreon. So that's patreon.com/JD from NY206. And I can't forget Harry's.com/script. Simple, guys. Use that unique link. You're going to get a $13 value trial set that includes the following. You guys are going to get a razor handle with a firm grip that is choice of color, up to you. Orange, the navy blue, or the evergreen. You're going to get a 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade, rich lathering shave gel with aloe. That's key, folks. Aloe is awesome. With aloe to keep your skin hydrated, and a travel blade cover to keep your razor dry and easy on the go. Harry's is a brand that you could be proud of, man. 1% of sales are donated to the organizations that provide access to mental health care for men, and there's no risk for trying Harry's out, man. If you don't love your shave, let them know, and they will give you a full refund. You guys know how much I talk about Harry's and how much I love it. In fact, I'm going to use it after this podcast is over because clearly, as you can see, I need a shave, and I have to look good for the work week ahead. So make sure you guys use Harry's, man. Harry's.com/script. $13 value trial set. You're not going to forget it. And it's going to be the best shave of your life. Once again, guys, that is harrys.com/script. Let's jump right into the news, man. WWE is now putting a huge focus on pushing new superstars on Raw and SmackDown. Really? Really? Why is there a priority now to push new stars now when you could have been doing this all this time? Do you understand how vital it is to take the talent that you have on these shows and make them feel special, give them an opportunity? You don't know whether they're going to sink or swim, and WWE makes this determination that they're going to sink more times than swim. And that's not right. Give someone the opportunity or opportunities to prove your mentality wrong. Don't immediately cast off anybody as, this guy's not going to make it. This guy, there's nothing special about him or her, you know? It's so silly. It's so silly. And WWE, if they had, built up certain guys that we know that they should have been building up for months now, how vastly different their shows would be as far as presentation and just overall feel. It would feel different instead of WWE overexposing the same people every single week, Monday and Tuesday. The wild card rule ruined everything, and now WWE's backtracking because they know that they had messed up. WWE is actively trying to push new superstars. According to Dave Meltzer, he brought up WWE's current direction during a recent episode of Wrestling Observer Live. Said the company is actively trying to push new stars, especially with new executive directors around. He says, and I quote, "The mentality is really strong with pushing new people right now. With the general managers, so to speak, with as much leeway as they have." End quote. Paul Heyman, we all know that Paul Heyman is a big Ricochet guy. We all know Paul Heyman is a big AJ Styles guy, a big Braun Strowman guy, a big Cedric Alexander guy. Cedric Alexander was wasted away before Paul Heyman was named officially executive director of Monday Night Raw. Now, he has a weekly presence on this show. You think that's by design? You think that's just done purposely? No! It's because of Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman knows the talent, probably better than anybody on Monday Night Raw, And I'm glad that aspect of him being the new executive director is being felt. And I hope that it starts to bleed more, not just Cedric Alexander, into other guys that we're not seeing. This is why a draft is so key. Because Monday Night Raw needs a complete makeover. We've been seeing the same thing over and over and over again for months. And it gives no reason for people to watch. So I love the fact that they're trying to push actively trying to push new superstars, but it's one of those things that should have been done. It's one of those things that should have been done. Because look at what we got this past summer. Were you intrigued or entertained by what we've seen? Instead, WWE should have been pushing new superstars to get ready for the new deal on Fox so that they're a little bit more appreciated and a little bit more in the public eye, the spotlight. They didn't do it. They didn't do it. Now I feel like it's too little too late. Especially with their tag team division, but don't get me started on the tag team division. WWE's programs have featured new people getting pushes like Cedric Alexander. We've seen Buddy Murphy, the resurgence of Buddy Murphy. I hope to God that we see him on TV, and it's not one of these cases where he had a great 3 weeks. He was one of the hottest guys in the company and then is off TV for 3 months. We don't need that. Neither does Murphy. So it's nice to see WWE giving everybody like a Murphy, an Alexander, an Ali an opportunity. But will they live up to it? Will WWE continue to be, in the boat of pushing these guys? Are they going to be consistent? There's no reason for us to trust them. There's none. All because you do it, Oh, you think it's okay. Oh, look, we're pushing them. You should have been pushing these guys all along. As soon as Cedric and Buddy Murphy got drafted to Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live, they should have been on TV. Seriously. So they're actively trying to push. Why are they actively trying to push? It's the AEW effect. It's the AEW effect. Because if they don't push, then that talent gets disgruntled. Then when their contracts are up, then they are more likely to look for opportunities elsewhere. That's the only reason why they're pushing them. Because who wants to sit around wasting away when all they want to do is wrestle and have an opportunity to get their name out there and an opportunity to make something of themselves. It's the AEW effect, folks. Don't be fooled. WWE is pushing people now because they are afraid that if they don't, then that will harbor ill will and they will look for opportunity elsewhere. So I'm glad that they're doing it, but you might have really left a bad taste in these guys' mouth for a very long time, to a point where no matter how hard you push them or what you give them as far as opportunity, some of these guys' decisions might already be made. I'm all for seeing new guys, but should have been doing it all along, man. Should have been doing it all along. What WWE should really do is cancel 205 Live and get rid of it. Get rid of it. There are rumors going around, according to Dave Meltzer, that 205 Live could turn into the third hour of SmackDown Live. I don't need 3 hours of wrestling on Tuesday. Or Friday, I should say. We got to really come to an understanding that Tuesday's not going to be a WWE day anymore for pro wrestling. It's on Friday. I don't want to see 3 hours of wrestling on a Friday night. And I'm sure you guys feel the same way. I don't think Fox is going to give WWE a third hour, because in most markets, the 10 o'clock news is promptly at 10 o'clock each and every night. I doubt Fox is going to move the sports or the show to 3 hours and just get rid of the nightly news on Fox in most markets. I doubt that's going to happen. But what WWE should do is cancel 205 Live, because I don't know who is watching it religiously. I haven't watched at all. I don't really care to watch either. And what WWE should do is move them to Monday Night Raw. Move all of those 205 Live roster members to Monday Night Raw. You already have the fucking Lucha House Party on there. Just move everybody else and give them a spotlight to shine on the A show, quote unquote. I use that term loosely. I'm just using it in a way because Monday Night Raw is the flagship show of WWE. Move it to Monday Night Raw, or move them to Monday Night Raw and get those guys in a bigger spotlight. Utilize them to inject a sense of adrenaline into the show. Utilize those guys to get in front of those larger audiences so that they are becoming known, to get their skills and their talents out there. Because they're not being seen on the WWE Network. They're not being seen following SmackDown. They're not being seen on 205 Live. Nobody's watching. If you're there live, you're probably leaving after SmackDown is over because it's a work night. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit about Humberto Carrillo. They don't. Get him on Monday Night Raw. Let him go for 10 to 12 minutes on Monday Night Raw in a highly contested cruiserweight match. Watch them get over. If you consistently do it, watch them get over. It doesn't need to be a major focus of the show. It needs to be a part of the show that makes the show different than the fucking formulaic garbage that we see now. I like it. I really do. One week, have them open the show. Have them open the show with a barn burner of a Cruiserweight Championship match. That would be a great way to open Monday Night Raw. It'd certainly be different. Don't put them in the fucking death hour. Don't put them at 10:30 when nobody's watching and nobody gives a shit. Put them on in the middle of the show. 8 o'clock, in that 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock hour. 9:30 the latest. Put them right in the middle. Most of the time, when you were watching Nitro back in the day, the Cruiserweights would open the show to set the pace and the tone for what you were going to watch over that 2 hours, 3 hours. That's what WWE needs to do. They had these guys on Raw. The Cruiserweights were once exclusive to Monday Night Raw, and they failed. It's a great concept. These guys are great at what they do. They don't need to be a focus of the program. Nobody's going to be watching Raw for Drew Gulak or Oney Lorcan or Humberto. Nobody's going to be watching the show for these guys. And who knows, if you move them to Monday Night Raw, you can have a Cedric Alexander and a Drew Gulak. Cedric Alexander, he was from 205 Live. Yes, he can mingle it up with the Rollins and the Styles, and he can mingle it up with the main level guys. Yes, we all know that. Drew McIntyre, we all know that. But what if you don't really have anything planned for him, per se? He could always challenge a Cruiserweight champion, Finn Balor, same thing. If you want to split them between the two shows, if you want to have the title rotate between the two shows, how great would it look? It would bring more importance to the Cruiserweight Championship. It would bring a spotlight where WWE wouldn't shine that spotlight on the Cruiserweight Championship. What if a Finn Balor was challenging for the Cruiserweight Championship? What if a Ricochet was challenging for the Cruiserweight Championship? You don't think that would do wonders for the division and the guys in the ring with that type of talent? I think this is a great idea, man. If it's not on Raw, it should absolutely be split between Raw and SmackDown. They're already traveling with SmackDown. Why not have them travel with Raw? Who gives a shit? Spread the wealth. But 205 Live, it's a failed concept. Nobody is watching it. It barely cracks the top 10 of most watched programs on WWE Network. Nobody's watching. So you might as well just cut your losses, salvage what's left, and use this talent, which is great talent, to make your shows feel different and give them an overall sense of quality, better quality. I think that's a great idea. No more 3-hour shows. SmackDown doesn't need to be 3 hours. I'm not going to go out of my way to watch 205 Live on Friday nights, because I didn't do it on Tuesday. Just end the show, end the concept, and just spread the wealth across Raw and SmackDown, or put them on Monday Night Raw exclusively. Because Monday Night Raw is the 3-hour show. It's more talent to fill segments on that show instead of giving me the usual garbage that we see. Because SmackDown Live is a 2-hour show. They got so much more of a better roster than Monday Night Raw. They might not even need the Cruiserweights. Put them on Raw. Put them on Raw. You got 3 hours to fill. I think that's a great way to fill 3 hours on Monday night. With the draft, we talk about the draft on Friday. And WWE is reportedly changing plans not only for some roster moves. Dave Meltzer said the roster moves will be minimal, but they are reportedly changing commentary roles as well with the draft. And this might have to do with Fox wanting exclusivity and brand identity away from Monday Night Raw for SmackDown Live. Now, the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that with WWE picking exclusive roles for Raw and SmackDown, then that will likely include Corey Graves not doing Monday and Tuesday night, but only one show from here on out starting in October. Soon he will likely no longer be announcing both Raw and SmackDown shows. There are plans for the announcing teams to be separated, at least at this point, which would mean no more Graves on both shows. So this will certainly be interesting to see which brand picks up Corey Graves if they do limit him to one show. Most weeks, I know some of you guys don't like him. He got overly annoying. He's much different than what we used to see of him or hear of him in NXT, but that's the main roster effect, folks. They ruin everything. So it's not really his fault. It's just the way things are on the main roster. And not only with the commentary, with the talent that you call up from NXT as well. Once they hit the main roster, they don't appeal to you in the way that they appeal to you in NXT. But he really is the one guy that I enjoy listening to most. And Tom Phillips is not bad either. I like SmackDown's commentary team better than Monday Night Raw. Byron Saxton does nothing for me. I'm not saying that he's bad. I just think the bantering and the bickering between him and Graves is just nauseating. It's not funny. It's absolutely a piss-poor attempt to try and recreate what Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan used to do. Whereas that was genuine, this seems overly forced and completely unfunny. If Corey Graves ends up on either brand, I think they would be lucky to have him, because I think he's probably the best at what he's doing right now. I don't know what that means for the commentary team moving forward. Maybe this means if they cancel 205 Live that they move Nigel McGuinness to SmackDown Live. I think that would be great. I think that would be awesome. Nigel McGuinness on Monday or Nigel McGuinness on Tuesday. Either one. Nigel is better than Corey at what he does. Nigel is the best color man in all of WWE. I could listen to him like we listen to Corey Graves now on Monday and Tuesday. But if you really want brand identity, if you really want exclusivity with these brands, keep Corey Graves on Monday and move Nigel McGuinness to Tuesday. Or if you're gonna move the cruiserweights and cancel 205 Live, and you're gonna put the cruiserweights on Monday night, put Nigel McGuinness on Monday, being that he knows those guys and he's been calling their matches for a while now. Put him on Monday with Michael Cole. I think that would be a decent tandem. Get Renee Young out of there. Fill in, that spot where Renee Young would be the third with somebody else, somebody different. Whoever that might be, I don't know. But WWE could clearly rotate the commentary teams to make them feel a little different. So they definitely have the names to do so. It's all about where they go and what WWE thinks is a better fit for Raw and SmackDown. I don't know. Either way, Nigel McGuinness, most certainly, if Corey Graves is going to be on one brand, Nigel McGuinness is definitely getting a promotion to either Raw or SmackDown Live. So we'll see what happens. Whether that means he is not going to do weekly NXT, I don't know. I don't know who WWE has in the pipeline. But either way, as long as Mauro Ranallo is untouched, I think I'll be fine. So we'll see what happens with the commentary roles changing. They will definitely be changing because I could see Fox wanting, like I said, brand identity away from Monday nights and Raw. Shane McMahon. A lot of people were kind of reporting this last night. People were talking about this on Twitter late last night. I found it to be quite hilarious. Shane McMahon has been off TV, and it's been a blessing, an absolute blessing. Shane McMahon hasn't been around recently, but there's a very good reason for this. Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Live stated this, and I quote, "The writers haven't had anything for him, and Vince McMahon is the guy that's been writing the show, and he's forgotten about him. He's forgotten about his son's angle." Yeah, he hasn't been on. In fact, this isn't the case at all, and Meltzer just didn't know what he was talking about. Vince forget about his son Shane? Vince just kill what was the number one thing on these shows? Not in my eyes. It was the number one thing that was most garbage on these shows, but Vince McMahon forget about his son, folks. Shane McMahon was pushed as the biggest heel in all of WWE. Vince would not forget anything revolving around Shane McMahon. Now, it's hurt Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens has had his momentum stalled. He was the hottest babyface on these shows. He then backtracked and became a pussy, character-wise, on TV. He was trying to negotiate with Shane. He was trying to talk sweet to Shane. Can you please rethink the fine and please take my family into consideration? Meanwhile, he came out in a rebel-like manner, shitting all over WWE corporate, shitting on Shane McMahon. He's on the shows. Guys like Buddy Murphy and Asuka and Kairi Sane and Apollo Crews were not getting the chances that we deserve. Blah, blah, blah. The McMahons came out on Monday Night Raw in mid-December and said that the shows were going to be different. We haven't seen anything. He came out doing all this shit, expressing to us pretty much how the fans feel, and then they backtracked on everything and made him feel weak. And made him look weak. So, they took him off TV, and Shane McMahon is not on TV, and now at this point, I don't know if anybody really gives a shit anymore about what Kevin Owens is doing or Shane McMahon and the storyline that they had. I don't give a shit. I don't get it, and I never gave a shit. But the real reason why Shane McMahon is off TV is not because Vince McMahon forgot. Shane McMahon's been doing jury duty. He's been in jury duty. Now, we don't know how long Shane McMahon is going to be locked away doing jury duty, and that is just awful. Just being in that environment is so depressing, but he might be off TV for a little bit, you know? Maybe he stays off TV till after Clash of Champions, because if the rumors are going around, the speculation going around, the fans' fears are going around on social media that Shane McMahon's going to be the King of the Ring, or whoever's in the King of the Ring is going to give way for Shane to win the King of the Ring, maybe it's best if he stays in jury duty. Why don't you keep him off TV, period, from this point on? So it's not Vince McMahon forgetting about his son, it's Shane McMahon's judgment in the courtroom that was necessary. And those things could go on for a while, man. Who knows what type of case he has? He could be knee-deep in this shit. Could be weeks before we see him. Good? I say good. Maybe he should end up in jury duty more often, because it's certainly making SmackDown Live better. Not really by much, but less Shane McMahon, the better on Tuesday nights. Bayley's heel turn solves a problem for WWE at Clash of Champions. WWE has a lot of problems, but I don't see how this solves any problem whatsoever for WWE at Clash of Champions. Now, Bayley is the SmackDown Live Women's Champion. She's going into Clash of Champions against Charlotte Flair to defend that title. Charlotte is from the Queen City, a.k.a. Charlotte, North Carolina. That is also the host of this year's Clash of Champions pay-per-view on Sunday. So fans typically cheer a lot for Flair, or a Flair, in Charlotte, North Carolina. WWE knows that whoever is a hometown gal or a hometown guy, more than likely they're going to be cheered. So Ric Flair, her father, worked many famous matches in North Carolina. People came out to see Ric Flair. So this could be the case of his daughter as well. And WWE apparently has solved this issue, as Brian Alvarez said on Wrestling Observer Live when the subject was brought up. Bayley's heel turn is a very interesting thing that was never given a thought. It was never visited before. So we don't know exactly what type of heel she's going to be. We don't know if she's full-blown heel exactly. Bayley is now a heel, and WWE has no issue with fans cheering Charlotte and booing Bayley. So we'll see what happens at Clash of Champions. So WWE, they wanted to turn Bayley heel because they figured that going into Charlotte, North Carolina, that Charlotte was going to be cheered and Bayley was going to be booed anyway. So they kind of accelerated Bayley's heel turn. You know, I don't understand. I really don't understand that logic, because WWE thinks that Charlotte, North Carolina, is going to cheer Charlotte Flair in her championship match against Bayley, but they fail to realize that the next time that people see Charlotte Flair, it's not going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina. So people will go right back to booing Charlotte Flair after the Clash of Champions pay-per-view, and more than likely they're going to go right back to cheering Bayley. So what did you do? You made the situation happen for one night only. It solves no problem. It solves no problem at all. I don't see what the big deal is if a heel goes into a hometown city, their hometown, and gets cheered. It's been like that for fucking ages. So what's the difference now? You give Bayley a heel turn, which people still don't know if she's fucking heel, for one night only? Just so that you could get Charlotte cheered because she was going to get cheered anyway? What's going to happen when Charlotte goes into fucking Madison Square Garden on Tuesday night? She's going to get fucking booed. What happens to Charlotte when she goes into the next city on Tuesday night after Clash of Champions? She's going to get booed. Because people know she's a heel. Of course she's going to get cheered in Charlotte, North Carolina. She's from there. But don't force a fucking heel turn on Bayley when you are not even clearly ready to present Bayley as a heel. I don't get it. I really don't get it. This is WWE solving an issue that never was an issue, thinking there was an issue, and it is so ridiculous to even think. It's like, oh, well, Charlotte's going to be cheered anyway. We'll just turn Bayley heel. Are you going to really go all the way with Bayley's heel turn? Because right now, I don't know whether her or Sasha are fucking heel. They may be heel to you, but what I'm looking at are two baby faces trying to be heel that are going to fail at being heel because, I'll tell you what, WWE, they are two of the most beloved acts that you have, especially in the women's division. Two of the most beloved acts that you have on TV. Two acts that you have sorely misused, and two acts that you've held down to push and further other agendas. And now you want us to boo these women when I think the majority of the people know and feel the same exact way that I do. Why would you go out there and boo Bayley or boo Sasha Banks? It is fucking impossible. It is fucking impossible. I mentioned this on Monday. Bayley and Sasha Banks can ransack a fucking family with their 6 kids, kick all the kids in the fucking face, and take their cotton candy at the fucking amusement park. And you know what? I'd fucking cheer it. I would stand up and give them a standing ovation. They're not going to boo these women. Sasha Banks is, especially Bayley as well, now that she's associated with Sasha Banks again, Sasha Banks is coming off, and Bayley are coming off, both of them are coming off, as cool heels. I mentioned this on Monday as well. Whatever you're doing here is, it could have the potential to backfire on Becky Lynch. You know? How many people are tired of Becky Lynch? How many people want the title of Becky Lynch? A large number of people do. Who's to say when Sasha, if she wins the title on Sunday night, that she's not going to get a standing ovation? Just simply because people think she deserves it. I don't know what WWE's doing here. They have the right idea in mind, but your right idea has been festering on people's minds. They're just happy to see Sasha Banks back. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be damn near impossible to turn those two women heel. This is nothing more than this is an idiot type mentality. Oh, let's turn Bayley heel because Sasha Banks is now heel. We'll align them together, and Charlotte will turn into a babyface because she's going into her home city. Like, is WWE going to run fucking shows for the rest of the year out of Charlotte, North Carolina? Give me a break, WWE. I don't think you thought that one through whatsoever. What they need to really think through is the Usos and how they're portrayed when they come back to the WWE. They are coming back, and according to the Observer, the Usos are expected back in a couple of weeks. Hopefully they will be able to put any drunken issues away, never to be seen again, and get back and focus on being what a lot of people think they are, the best tag team in wrestling. The Wrestling Observer reports that the Usos are expected back in a couple of weeks. Hopefully they will be able to put any drunken issues to the side and finally just move on and clear their heads and get better, live a better life. Away from the alcohol, away from the fucking bottle, please. And don't get behind the wheel. The Usos are out of action, as you guys know, because of Jimmy's most recent DUI arrest. They are expected back in a couple of weeks. Listen, they need to go back to being the Usos that we seen that ran the Uso Penitentiary. You might want to stay away from such verbiage, but they need to be heel. They need to get back to being that gritty, rough and tough team that takes no bullshit from anybody. They were coming out, blasting people with their promos, man. When the Usos spoke, remember that? Seems like it was fucking forever ago. When the Usos got on the microphone and just blasted people, and they talked the way that they did, you listened. They are awesome. It seems like since they got moved to Monday Night Raw, everything about the Usos just completely went to shit. And that's not really all that surprising because everybody feels the same effect when they hit Monday Night Raw. They are just completely watered down. It's awful. It really is an awful feeling. It's an awful feeling for them, I'm sure, and it's an awful thing for us to see. Because we all know everybody that goes to Raw ends up the same way. They don't feel important. They don't feel special anymore. Hopefully the Usos can get back and continue doing what they got to do. But what is the point? WWE does not focus on tag team wrestling. And here you have, for the next 5 years, what a lot of people think are the best tag team on the planet. And they don't even use them and care for the division in which the Usos do most of their work in. It's just awful, man. Really awful. What is awful is Chad Gable being on the sidelines. What is awful is that Chad Gable had to beg Vince McMahon for something to do in WWE. Now, while speaking to PW Insider Elite Audio, Chad Gable revealed that when he moved to SmackDown Live, he approached Vince McMahon with a number of ideas. He said he was begging Vince McMahon to do something with him. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Gable now being in the King of the Ring. We don't know what's going to happen, but he could end up in the finals. He could be that babyface that ends up in the finals against Baron Corbin, and Baron Corbin could ultimately be crowned king. That's what I'm thinking WWE does. I honestly think Baron Corbin is going to squeeze out a victory tonight against Ricochet and Samoa Joe. And being that Gable's going up against Elias, what's the best match that we could possibly get out of? Listen, this is what we got to think. What is the best match that we could get out of the finals in the King of the Ring? Chad Gable, right, on SmackDown Live against Ricochet. That's the best match that we can get. Are we going to get it? If it's the best match that we could possibly get, we're not going to get it. Chad Gable versus Samoa Joe. I could see that happening too. I think that would be a great match as well. I'd love to see what those two guys could do. We're not going to get that either. Because I don't think WWE thinks that highly of Joe. And I think they would gladly go in another direction. Being that those are the two best matches that we could possibly get, we're not going to get them. Now, WWE could go with Elias versus Ricochet. That's not something I really want to see. That's actually putting Ricochet in a position where, you know, he's going to be doing most of the work. And we've seen that already on Monday Night Raw, and I don't care to see it again. We've seen it twice on Monday Night Raw. Don't want it. I don't want it. That would be terrible for the finals. We could see Baron Corbin. See Baron Corbin and Elias. I don't think that's going to happen. It's two heels. WWE wants the King of the Ring tournament to mean nothing, then do that final. Baron Corbin versus Chad Gable. I could definitely see that being the final. And I could see Baron Corbin winning. I really could see that. Because Vince McMahon has this mentality of Baron Corbin being this big guy. He's attractive to the females. He's got a great look, right? I could see him overcoming the midget, the small guy in Chad Gable. And I could definitely see Vince McMahon scripting Baron Corbin to go and just belittle Chad Gable and cut him down, give him, you know, win after win after win, let him get to the final, and then he falls short. No pun intended. I could absolutely see it happening. And then we get King Corbin. And then King Corbin, with the King of the Ring crown and the scepter, we're going to be gifted nauseating television. And what WWE is trying to convince Vince McMahon of is that Baron Corbin is not what the fans want. Because if it's up to Vince McMahon, he's going to push Baron Corbin into a World Championship title program, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. I'd love if Chad Gable won the King of the Ring. I really would love it. I would go with Ricochet. But I think we're reaching for that shooting star that we're not going to catch, folks, if we think it's Ricochet versus Chad Gable in the finals of the King of the Ring. That's what the King of the Ring finals should be about, but not in the eyes of Vince McMahon. Chad Gable said this, and I quote, to his lack of involvement on SmackDown Live. If I'm presented with something regardless of what it is, I'm excited. Of course you are. Of course you are. Look at what they've done with you. The best we've seen of you is when you were with Jason Jordan. And American Alpha was a team. I loved American Alpha. They were awesome. Imagine American Alpha. Well, I don't want to imagine American Alpha now. The tag team division is fucking garbage. They would have done nothing with American Alpha anyway. They tried with American Alpha, and then they ended up splitting both guys away from one another, putting them on separate brands, and Jason Jordan became the fucking illegitimate son of Kurt Angle. Some great plans you got there at WWE. Of course he's going to be excited about what he's presented because he never gets anything presented to him to begin with. I'll tell you, from experience, when Bobby Roode and I were broken up, when I got traded to SmackDown, I immediately went to Vince. You know, with characters, ideas for stories. I made my own vignettes. I did my own promos that I would bring my laptop in and show him. Just basically begging, pleading, doing whatever I could to do something to get anything. I wasn't married to these ideas that I was giving him. I just wanted to throw as much at him and go, look, I'm open to anything. This is what I've got for you. But I'm willing to do anything you've got in mind because I'm ready to work. I'm ready to deliver for you. And this is a guy that willingly wants to go out there and fucking work for Vince. And Vince didn't use him. Vince just didn't realize the talent that he had in Chad Gable. I don't get it. So when I'm doing that, it shows that I'm ready for work. So when they come to me with something, there's no way I'm going to be a guy to shit on some idea. He said poo-poo, so I'm referring to poo-poo. Nobody says poo-poo. What his exact quote was, I'm not going to be that guy to poo-poo on some ideas. He's not going to be a guy to shit on ideas. You know, or anything like that they give me. Them offering me anything means they want to invest in me. And to me, that's a compliment. And so I'm going to take that and use it to my full advantage, whatever ideas they throw at me. And I take them all as a compliment. And I'm ready. I'm ready for them to invest in me. And I can guarantee they will get back their investment. I will deliver. I still stand behind the King of the Ring tournament, guys. I think we're going to end up with Chad Gable and Baron Corbin in the end. I just have this sneaking, and I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I wish we would get a Ricochet versus a Chad Gable. I think those two guys could tear the fucking house down and give us a final worthy of the King of the Ring. King Ricochet has a nice ring to it. King Gable has a nice ring to it. But with WWE pushing Baron Corbin and the fact that Baron Corbin is still here and they couldn't decide on a winner here between Ricochet and Samoa Joe, I just have a feeling that Baron Corbin's going to squeeze out a victory, and we're going to get Chad Gable beating Elias. Because there's a great story on SmackDown Live. Chad Gable, a guy that everybody's looking at as small and not big enough to be king. It's certainly giving him a story in the tournament, but what is it going to matter in the end when he loses to Baron Corbin in the end of days? It's not going to matter at all. I just see that being WWE's mentality. So we'll see what happens with that. But like I mentioned before, there are people in the WWE that are trying to talk Vince McMahon out of pushing Baron Corbin so heavily. Sources in WWE state that Vince McMahon loves Baron Corbin, and this is no secret, folks. Baron Corbin was in the Universal title picture for 3 months with Seth Rollins. People close to Vince McMahon have told him they believe Baron Corbin will not put asses in seats as the Universal Champion. Now, Baron Corbin has come close to winning a major title in WWE, but they never pulled the trigger on him as champion. McMahon thinks the ladies love Baron Corbin, but the real question is how many asses can Baron Corbin put in seats? None. Because you're not watching these shows for Baron Corbin. And when Baron Corbin is on TV, you're changing the channel. Channel changing heat exists, okay? You know, the idiot mentality is, well, he's getting heat. Heat is heat regardless. No, it's not. And the other argument to that, the other fucking portion of that audience, which is the same mentality, which is an idiot mentality. Well, if Baron Corbin was so bad, then you would have got up and went to the concessions or went to the bathroom, or you would have left the show altogether if you didn't want to see Baron Corbin, but people are still sitting there. Do you know what? I would rather fucking people get up and go to the bathroom or go to the concessions, because when I see guys like Baron Corbin, and when I see guys who are just uninteresting to the audience sitting like this, they look like The Walking Dead. They look like that, sitting in the audience. Or they're doing this, you know? Or they're doing this on their cell phone. If you're not watching the fucking guy in the ring, and you're doing all that shit, and I see that, I'm fucking pissed. I would rather you get up and go to the fucking concessions. So, yes, this is still go-away heat. Picking up your phone to make a phone call, or texting, or sleeping like a fucking idiot, live at a wrestling show, or talking to the fucking fat slob next to you. That's go away heat. Because they don't fucking care about you. Get up and go to the fucking bathroom. Go to the concessions. I'd rather see an empty seat than someone completely uninterested. Either way, Baron Corbin is not the answer. Baron Corbin's not going to sell out MSG. Baron Corbin in a major program with Seth Rollins. Yes, Seth Rollins was brought down and emasculated during this entire fucking summer. We all know that. He was presented as a fucking pussy. But having Baron Corbin as his dance partner for the Universal Championship, man, oh man, did Monday Night Raw get some of its lowest ratings ever. I guess this doesn't matter, right? Ratings don't matter. Vince still wants to make Baron Corbin the Universal Champion. Go away heat exists, folks. I'm not saying Baron Corbin is a bad professional wrestler. I'm not. I think Baron Corbin is a above average heel. But to make Baron Corbin the focus of your show, that is just ludicrous. And seriously not the mentality that WWE should have as far as Universal Champion. I guess it falls in line with the Universal Championship because the Universal Championship is fucking cursed to begin with. And it's a piss poor fucking WWE Championship. It's their most prized possession. Who's held that title outside of Brock Lesnar that's made it mean anything at all? Nobody. So give it to Baron Corbin. It'll fall in line with the rest of everybody outside of Lesnar that held that title. Fucking garbage. So if you want to make Baron Corbin your WWE Universal Champion, go ahead. Watch the ratings sink lower than they have ever been. Especially with Monday Night Football now. You want to see Baron Corbin as your Universal Champion with fucking Monday Night Football on? Go ahead. That 1.5 rating is looming. Guaranteed. Can't stand this shit, man. Get with the program and start listening to what the fucking fans want on Monday and soon to be Friday night. Baron Corbin is not the answer. I'll tell you what the answer is, folks. Audible. You like that transition, right? Yeah, I know. I'm the king of transitions, man. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Go and get your 30-day free trial of Audible. Once you use our unique link, audibletrial.com/offthescript, not only are you going to get 30 days free, but you're going to get one free audiobook of your choice, no matter what. It's a great way to support the show. Over 200,000 choices to choose from, a lot of which, folks, are wrestling related. So make sure you guys get Audible, support the podcast, use our link, audibletrial.com/offthescript. Everybody this morning is talking about Sasha Banks. Everybody's talking about Sasha Banks. I love Sasha Banks. I think she's awesome. I'm glad she's back on TV. I know there was a part of me that wanted her to sit out and not come back, but that woman loves pro wrestling too much. She is not going to sit out and not do the one thing that she was put on this earth to do. Wrestle. Now, I don't know, and I didn't ask my source. I should have asked my source about what was going on, but I feel like when I talk contract and money and all this stuff, and I ask about those certain things and aspects that I just feel uncomfortable about doing so. But I know WWE is locking talent down for 5 years. It's gone from 3 years to 5 years, and it's definitely an AEW effect as far as that goes. They want to lock people down so they don't have to worry about them going somewhere else. If WWE let Sasha Banks just sit at home and let her out into the wild, God knows what that woman would do, and God knows what type of eyes she would bring to an overall product. They didn't want that. They don't want that at all. She might want that eventually, but we don't know. All we know is that that woman wants to wrestle. That woman wants to be the best at what she does. She wants to be known as the greatest female performer on the planet. So you give her a foundation to do so. I don't see why you would not. She is incredibly beautiful. She is over with everybody. She has the love and respect of everybody on social media, depending on who you talk to. In the darkest realms of social media, there are people that want her fucking dead. You know, just like everybody else that they don't like. But I think everybody is in the same boat with Sasha Banks. She is absolutely one of the biggest names that they have. She's over with the fans. She's great with the little kids, with the young girls. That is, that comes with no price tag. You can't put a price tag on that. They know that. But I don't see why WWE would not put this woman in the ring and do what they need to do with her. Having her go back and forth on what she wants to do is not good for WWE, because you're not going to piss her off to a point where you're going to drive her away. So WWE right now, whether they want to or not, I don't know. I don't know, because if they wanted to push Sasha Banks, then they would have done so from the very beginning. I honestly feel now with Sasha Banks back that they're merely doing it just to put on this act. And they're merely doing it just to keep her happy, because they know with everything that they did to this woman that it just built up more animosity. It built up more anger to a point where she was about to explode and say, fuck it, I don't want to be here anymore. So now I feel like they're putting on this front where they need to pretty much get on their hands and knees and, oh, please, Miss Banks, stay with us. Our women's division sucks. That's exactly what WWE is doing right now. They're putting on a front. They're giving Sasha everything that they should have given her from the beginning just to keep her happy. And I know that woman is smart enough to know that you can never trust WWE. Because one day they'll think the world of you, and then the next day they'll get rid of you and keep you on the fucking bench for 4 years. Oh, but JD, she was a women's champion for 4 times. 4-time women's champion. What does that mean to anybody? Those reigns. Name me one Sasha Banks reign that was memorable. There's not one reign that lasted over 30 days. I believe there was one reign that lasted only 8 days. You fucking kidding me? Then she proceeds to get booked in Riot Squad matches for 48 of the 52 weeks in 2017. Or 2018, whatever. Come on. So WWE right now is absolutely putting on a front. Sasha Banks might be happy, she might be making the money, and good for her. I want her to be the most happy out of anybody. Fuck WWE. WWE is putting on this front where they have to give Sasha Banks everything that she's requesting. Things need to change. That woman needs to see change. So WWE is going to bow down, give this woman what she wants, just to keep her happy so that she doesn't have it in the back of her mind that, after my contract's up, I'm gone. I'm gone. In that time frame, AEW's women's division is going to blossom. AEW is going to get some momentum and traction underneath themselves, and maybe I could go over there after my contract is up and make just as much money and be a bigger star in AEW instead of WWE. Because Sasha Banks right now is a big fish in a big pond. If she goes over there, she'll be a big fish in a very medium-sized pond. And that is a very attractive thing for one to look at. Because WWE knows they have Charlotte, they got Alexa, right? They got all these women that they could use outside of Sasha Banks. WWE refused to use Sasha Banks. Now they want to use Sasha Banks? Why? To keep her happy so she don't go anywhere else? Come on. I see right through it. So it's either a case of we're going to get the Sasha Banks that we've all wanted over the last 4 years, and WWE is going to give her what she deserves, and she's going to go and give us the best of what she has, period. Or she's going to go through the motions and then leave anyway. So who gives a shit how many years she has on our contract? It's not my business. It's not your business. I'm just happy that woman is happy. That's all I give a shit about. So either way, we're going to get Sasha Banks. But at the end of the day, you can't trust WWE. So the contract talk is right now being debunked. Whatever Bryan Alvarez talked about is not true. And he came out and mentioned that he talked about the contract negotiation or the contract talk that was brought up the last time we mentioned Sasha Banks and her contract being up. At that point, I think she signed 3 years. She might have signed the new deal. I don't know. It's none of my business. I'm not going to reach out to my source and ask, how many years does Sasha Banks have on her contract? I'm not going to do that. It's none of my business. Sasha Banks is still young. She's at a point in her career where she's getting a championship match. She's going to be focused on, clearly, because they have no other choice. And if she leaves at the end of her contract, so be it. All you know at the end of the day is you're going to get Sasha Banks, you're going to get Mercedes at the best that she has to offer. So who gives a shit? Seriously. Sasha Banks and the contract negotiations have been debunked. Russell Votes reported last May 2018 that Sasha Banks has resigned to remain with the WWE within the last week or so. Now, that could have been for 3 years, because WWE was locking people into 3-year deals. So if that is to be believed, Sasha Banks signed last year. We don't know when. It was reported in May. It could have happened after WrestleMania. It could be anywhere between, I would say, March and May. It could be March, April, May. Any one of those months. Sasha Banks would have signed a 3-year deal. So by that logic, if she signed a new 3-year deal in the May of 2018, then she's probably with WWE till WrestleMania season of 2021. Now, they said then in May, contract news, hearing that Sasha Banks has resigned to remain with the WWE within the last week or so. So after WrestleMania, she will continue to be a key part of the women's division for years to come. Sasha certainly earned her new deal. She moves lots of merchandise, and the young fans love her. Now, Brian Alvarez made mention of this, and he made mention of the 2018 contract resigning recently on the Observer Live. He misspoke a little, and some people thought he was talking about a new contract, which he wasn't talking about a new contract. And the Observer posted it everywhere. Other websites obviously picked up on this because everybody's a fucking leech. But when everybody heard that Alvarez made this statement, we knew he was talking about the 2018 contract. So, WWE could have certainly sat down with Sasha and re-upped for 5 years in total, which would make it, 2023. But I know, I would be a betting man to think that if WWE wanted to sit down with Sasha Banks and renegotiate her contract to up it to from 3 years to 5 years, that woman is not going to do it. At that point, then I think everybody's kind of treating her kind of unfairly. I honestly think people are thinking that she is not of the business mind and she's just willingly going to give her life to Vince McMahon for another 2 years when she's already, walking on eggshells. She's already fucking trembling in fear of what they're going to do right now on the remaining years of her contract in the fucking current storyline that she's in right now. A couple of weeks of good TV and her being portrayed is not enough to salvage, another 2 years out of this woman. Stay with us, please. Please stay with us. No. You better show me the rest of my fucking contract that you're gonna show me exactly what I deserve. And you're gonna show me exactly what you should have been doing with me over the last 4. Don't take her to be some fucking dumb idiot. She would be so stupid to sign a contract or a renegotiated contract for 2 more years to stay on for 5. When she just signed a new deal reportedly last year. Now, this is just me speculating. I don't see how that would make the entire situation better. She might have it in her mind that she's going to fulfill the rest of her contract. She needed a break. She was angry. She has every fucking reason to be angry. In fact, I know she was angry. I know the reasons why she was out. Look at what she was going through. It doesn't take a fucking scientist to figure it out. The woman wanted to be away because of how they treated her. You don't do that to someone that talented and then say, oh, you whatever. They did it blatantly. Now they need her. Of course they're going to bring her back. Look at the state of the division. When you have Becky Lynch and Lacey fucking Evans as your main program, you know that at that point you need to call Sasha and beg this woman to come back. Fuck out of here, man. Sasha might already have it in her mind that she's gone after 3 years. There's no reason for Sasha to trust these people. And there's nothing that they could do. Nothing. For her to say, you know what, I trust. No. A championship reign? A championship reign. Really? Oh, she's going to win the championship. Who gives a shit? The championship doesn't last more than 30 days. What's the point? What is the point? So, all this bullshit about Sasha Banks, it's debunked. Don't listen to anybody. People want to jump the gun. Oh, Sasha Banks signed for 5 years. Oh, Sasha Banks is this. No. Let the woman do what she needs to do. She knows what's best for her. I don't think she's stupid enough to stay with them for a renegotiated 5 years. That's just my logic. I'm thinking logically. I'm thinking common sense. She might have signed last year. Great. Hope she's making all the money that she wants. But there's no reason for her to sign a fucking deal. Re-up for another 2 years. What the fuck have they shown her? Nothing. Think, folks. Think. All it takes is a little brain power and you'll come up with a logical reason for why some things you read are bullshit and why some things could be exactly what you think they are. Logic. It goes a long way. Moving on here, man. Vince McMahon wants unique ideas for Monday and Tuesday night at Madison Square Garden. Brian Alvarez on the Wrestling Observer Live has noted that Vince McMahon called a special writers meeting on Friday. He instructed his writers to get creative and come up with as many unique ideas as possible for next week's shows. I've been told that they've been doing a raw creative meeting all day Friday, and Vince is on everybody to be creative. Now, we don't know what's happening. I went over the show at the top of the hour here, but be creative. Here's a unique idea, Vince. Why don't you step the fuck away and let everybody with their unique ideas get their unique ideas on fucking television? You want unique ideas? What, so you can look at them and then rip up the fucking script 45 minutes before the show? The only unique idea is Vince McMahon no longer there. That's the only unique idea that I care for. Because that's certainly unique. Because we know that he's there every single week. Vince McMahon wants unique ideas. How many unique ideas were shown in the scripts the last month on SmackDown Live? They got ripped up and were rewritten via Skype. I would love to see how bad or good these shows were that he ripped up. Because I'm assuming the show that he wrote was so much better, right? Clearly not. Speaking of the draft, we talked about the draft on Friday. WWE is holding another draft in October. It's not really confirmed, but I think everybody kind of assumes that we're going to get one once television starts on Fox for SmackDown Live. But Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, The Miz, and Rey Mysterio were all featured in an advertisement for SmackDown on Fox that is currently running. Now, it is interesting that these stars obviously took part in the special shoot for the commercial. All of these superstars are currently with Raw. So, interestingly enough, Becky Lynch is also the Raw Women's Champion. We'll have to see if that changes between now and October. I'm assuming that Becky Lynch is losing the championship to Sasha Banks. Why would Sasha get a championship match in the first 4 weeks that she's been back and lose? That's not really showing you that WWE wants to keep Sasha Banks happy. I think everybody's over the Becky Lynch title reign. It might do Becky Lynch a favor. It might do her some positive to fucking chase. You're not going to chase against Lacey Evans. You're going to chase against Sasha Banks. So, Becky could eventually move to SmackDown Live. We don't know. But people are thinking that those are spoilers for the upcoming draft. Yes, because Alexa Bliss, The Miz, and Rey Mysterio are going to make me go watch SmackDown Live on Fridays, man. I can't wait to see Alexa Bliss. How to make me not watch SmackDown. There you go. Moving on. Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn. Speaking of which, I got news on these two clowns. Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura. Plans for both of them on SmackDown Live. WrestleVotes is floating around the idea for Sami Zayn's current storyline with Nakamura. Could be something similar to the Festival of Friendship. They say, and I quote, these two could get very close, and then it would be, presumably, in a result in one turning on the other with a big blow-off match. We'll have to wait and see where this leads, but it's doubtful that the storyline will stretch all the way through WrestleMania. They continue and say, one of the ideas that I've heard, WrestleVotes said, that when Zayn Nakamura storyline was decided upon was to eventually resemble the Jericho-Owens friendship angle from a few years ago, leading to a big-time blow-off match. However, I'd be surprised if this story lasted all the way through WrestleMania. WWE and long-term booking? Oh, my God, man. Really now. Oh, That's comedy. That's grade 8 comedy, folks. Long-term storytelling on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live. Yeah, sure. Yeah, right. Nakamura has The Miz to take care of at Clash of Champions, which I'm assuming The Miz beats Nakamura and becomes a 9-time Intercontinental Champion. So there you go. Nothing that I'm wholeheartedly interested in, but Zayn Nakamura, probably one of the best debut matches for a talent in WWE history at TakeOver Dallas, WrestleMania 32 weekend. But Sami Zayn right now is, I would say, at the bottom of the barrel as far as WWE talents go. Nakamura, he hasn't been presented in a spotlighted light at all. Why would anybody care about these two? It's like you're pairing one loser with another loser. And one of those losers is the Intercontinental Champion. The title ain't making him look good, and he's not making the title look any better either. And The Miz is not going to make that title look good either. He's a bigger loser than both of them combined. Losing to Shane McMahon. On 3 occasions he lost to Shane McMahon. Yeah, that's exactly what I want out of my IC champion. The Miz as a babyface is fucking terrible. Get this guy back to being a fucking nefarious prick, please. Or better yet, back in 2018, he was having some of the best matches of his career and winning clean. Winning clean as a heel. What's so difficult? Then WWE teamed him up with Shane McMahon, and it was okay. It was a genuine storyline that resulted in what we got now. The Miz a loser, and Shane McMahon being overexposed on TV, presented as the biggest heel in the entire fucking company. Shane McMahon. Sami Zayn and Nakamura are losers. Sami Zayn's got 3 years left on his fucking deal. And they added more time on top of his fucking deal for his injury. Man, I wish he would show up on AEW under a fucking Generico mask. I really do. I don't know if Nakamura signed the new deal. I'm hearing that he re-signed with the WWE. I don't know. Some people just don't care, man. Some people just don't care. They're all losers. And it's going to result in a match that I genuinely don't give a shit about. Finally, guys, we're going to end with the story here. Steve Austin and Bray Wyatt. Possible confrontation on Monday Night Raw tonight. Bray Wyatt tweeted out, and he tweeted out something that a lot of people took to be a rattlesnake reference. He took to Twitter and said this, and I quote, "A rattlesnake's skin is the same color as the leaves," she said. "You gotta get them before they get you." And he quoted Sister Abigail saying that. But he tweeted out from his own personal Twitter. Now, there are reports of Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell. We went over that on Monday. It's probably an inevitability that is happening. We don't know if Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt are in the Hell in a Cell one-on-one, it's an inevitability that he's becoming the Universal Champion, because I don't see how you put someone like that with that character, the Fiend, inside a Hell in a Cell in a championship match and have him lose. One loss kills everything. We don't even know if he's going to get a title match. It could be Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman in Hell in a Cell. It could be Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, and the Fiend inside Hell in a Cell. We don't know until Clash of Champions is over. But WWE is bringing Steve Austin to Madison Square Garden. He's set to oversee a contract signing between Rollins and Braun Strowman. This would be the perfect opportunity for him to kind of live up to his tweet, his cryptic tweet, and would be another layer on top of the storyline that WWE's building outside of the Braun Strowman, Seth Rollins storyline, which nobody gives a shit about. Because if the Fiend gets involved, it's going to instantly become interesting because nobody is interested in Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins. So I could see Bray Wyatt showing up not only because of Steve Austin, and it ties into the whole Legends thing that he's been attacking Legends, so I could see that certainly happening as well, and on top of the Rollins-Braun Strowman thing, as I mentioned. But Bray Wyatt is set to be there. Absolutely. If I was a betting man, I would say that he's going to be there during the contract signing between Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman. Now, he is set, reportedly, to face the winner inside Hell in a Cell. We don't know if that's true or not. Now, there's a rumor going around out there that WWE is planning for Wyatt to attack Austin on Monday Night Raw tonight in MSG This rumor is pretty interesting, especially considering Stone Cold Steve Austin is retired from pro wrestling. It's not like Austin would be taking a bump. It's not like Austin would be, slammed. He'd probably just take a mandible claw. Just like Jerry the King Lawler and everybody else, Kurt Angle, Mick Foley, and everybody else before that. So it's rumored that Austin is cleared to take bumps. He took a bump from Becky Lynch on his show on the USA Network. He sat down with Becky Lynch. They were in a ring. She allowed him, or he allowed her, I should say, to give him the stunner. And he took a damn good stunner from Becky Lynch. Much better than Kevin Owens ever delivered. That's just my personal opinion. I think Becky Lynch delivered a great stunner to a point where she could actually use that as part of her repertoire. So he did take a bump. He took a stunner from Becky Lynch. We're going to have to wait and see what happens next, but some fans are really breaking down this Bray Wyatt tweet to mean that Austin is going to be involved in some way with Bray Wyatt. That Steve Austin is going to get back in the ring and come out of retirement for one more match. And if he does, who does he go up against? Who does he go up against? I don't know, nor do I care. Now, this is being rumored, and I could tell you with 100% validity that I was in Chicago for StarCast, and I overheard people. Now, there was a lot of chatter, and I was amongst people who are in the know, and I heard from people that WWE has been told that Steve Austin is open more now than ever before to come out of retirement and have one more match. Who that match is against, I don't know. Where that match takes place, I don't know. But I'm telling you right here, right now, if that match doesn't take place at WrestleMania, then WWE is doing something that I genuinely don't give a shit about. Because what does bringing Stone Cold Steve Austin back, what does bringing Steve Austin back do for WWE? It does nothing in my eyes, just like it means bringing The Undertaker back, just like it means bringing Goldberg back, just like it means bringing fucking Kane back, and all these retired legends, Ric Flair, and having Raw reunions. What does it mean? It means absolutely nothing. Stone Cold Steve Austin, right now, is in some of the best shape he could possibly be in at his age. Stone Cold Steve Austin has the respect of an entire fan base and an entire industry. Why would you risk any of that to come back for monetary gain? Please don't do the same thing that HBK did. Don't do the same thing that The Undertaker continues to do. Don't do the same thing that Triple H continues to do. Do you want to end up like The Undertaker? I'm not saying that Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to end up like The Undertaker, but there's no interest in seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin back in a wrestling ring. That ship has sailed. That ship has sailed. As soon as they deaded the entire Austin and Punk possible match, I never wanted to see Stone Cold Steve Austin in the ring ever again. There's no one in WWE currently right now that I would want to see Stone Cold Steve Austin in a program with, in the ring with. I don't care. It is WWE bringing back Austin simply for a cheap pop. For a cheap ratings pop. That's all it is. How does it look to you that they're bringing Austin back for this contract signing? How does it look to you? They're bringing Austin back inside Madison Square Garden because he's Stone Cold Steve Austin and he's synonymous with Madison Square Garden? No! They're bringing Austin back because they can't sell out MSG. The Undertaker is at SmackDown. They can't sell out SmackDown at MSG. So for the lapsed fan, yes, they're going to watch Stone Cold Steve Austin because the lapsed fan only knows Stone Cold and they don't care about what WWE has on TV right now. The lapsed fan knows The Undertaker, and the lapsed fan will always go out of his way to watch an appearance by The Undertaker, or an appearance by Stone Cold Steve Austin, or an appearance by several legends, or a Goldberg, or a Raw reunion, because that's all they know. But you did nothing to build the next week's show after that Raw reunion show. Yeah, you presented Stone Cold Steve Austin and everybody else that had some fucking importance to everybody watching. And then you went right back to the fucking rating that you were getting all this time. Yeah, you popped a 3.5. Good for you. What the fuck does that 3.5 mean to you? If it doesn't uphold the next week or the week after that or the week after that, you gain no new fans. You brought back old fans, but they didn't stay because they know the fucking shit you're putting on TV is complete fucking garbage. So bringing Austin back does nothing but pop a cheap rating for the segment that he's on. And he gets to tickle. You get him in the ring. You get him to tickle Seth Rollins' balls just a little bit and fucking stroke his ego. All that much more. What does it mean? It means fucking nothing. Watch this guy come back and watch these rumors of him getting one more match be true, and then it happens in fucking Saudi Arabia. Where fucking legends go to die. Saudi Arabia. Shawn Michaels came out of retirement, embarrassed himself. Undertaker embarrassed himself. Not only in that crown jewel match, again against Bill Goldberg. Why? I would not be surprised if we see Sting. Another thing I'm hearing, WWE is frantically trying to get Sting cleared so they can put him in a match with The Undertaker at this fucking Saudi show. I heard at StarCast that Austin is more open now than ever before than doing a match. Why? Does Austin need the money? I don't think so. Come on, man. Between his beer, between his podcast, between his shows, he's living like a fucking king. Plus, I'm sure he's got a Legends deal with WWE. Merchandising rights still. Pretty sure they're fucking paying him well off. The fuck does he need to come back for? He has the opportunity to do something that nobody has done. Not come back. Maintain your legacy. Why risk all that? Why throw everything down the fucking toilet for Saudi money? Or a cheap fucking ratings pop? The reason why Austin's there, I hope you know, is to fucking pop a cheap rating tonight. Because they know they're up against Monday Night Football. What do you expect them to do? Go in there with the fucking roster they have now that nobody gives a shit about? Bray Wyatt's certainly going to be there. Bray Wyatt is certainly going to be there. Now, like I said, not only does it play into the fucking cryptic tweet he put out there, but Austin is a legend. Maybe Austin evades the Mandible Claw. Maybe he gives... I don't want to see Bray Wyatt take any stunners. Please, please, that's the one thing I don't want. Don't give him a... Maybe he just evades the Mandible Claw. Maybe Seth Rollins gets the Mandible Claw. Maybe Braun Strowman gets the Mandible Claw. And there's a stare-off between Austin and The Fiend that gets a holy shit chant. That would be great. A standoff between The Fiend and Austin. And nothing happens. Nothing. You know, you could whet people's appetite for that, but I don't want anything to come of that. Just the simple fact that they're staring at each other in the middle of the ring inside Madison Square Garden, I think would pop big for everybody. Get the Mandible Claw on Rollins. Get the Mandible Claw on Braun Strowman. Fuck them. But I do expect Austin to be there and be one of the legends that Bray Wyatt attacks. Same thing with The Undertaker on Tuesday night. Nobody knows what The Undertaker's doing on SmackDown Live. I'm assuming he's there for Bray Wyatt. You know? Maybe we get The Undertaker on Bray Wyatt. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. But it's certainly going to tie into the storyline that's building with The Fiend, Rollins, Strowman. Austin's going to be there to tickle Rollins' balls and stroke his fucking cock some more. And Austin is a legend that's going to play into the Bray Wyatt Fiend attacking all these legends randomly for no reason. So we'll see what happens. It should be interesting. Raw's loaded. Raw needs to be loaded. Not just during Monday Night Football, but it should be loaded every week. Where's this sense of urgency every fucking week? I don't know. If WWE had this sense of urgency every week, maybe we wouldn't be on here complaining as much as we did. So we'll see what happens, man. That's your Off the Script. If you enjoyed what I thought here and said here, let me know what you guys think down below. I am getting out of here, and I will see you all tonight, as usual, for Monday Night Raw. Follow me on Twitter, at JD from NY206, if you guys want to tweet along with me. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. And I will see you guys right back here tonight for more Monday Night Raw. And I'll see you guys during the week with much more content on the channel. Till then, guys, hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you tonight for Raw.